This time on Woody's Garage. More screwing around on the Z50R.
Okay, we're screwing around with JB Weld again today. We're fixing this cover. This is like the third coat. Some on the back, some on the front. There's a big chunk, if you remember, taken right out of here. We'll sand that down and give it another 18 hours or so to dry. And we also got the air cleaner. Got some wax paper behind it and a piece of thin cardboard, and we're going to try to fill that in too. My battery's almost out. First coat. Alright, we GB welded the case. Doesn't look that great, but it's solid. So I thought I'd check out this other carb I have that I bought. I actually bought from my old 1970 Z50, thinking it might work, you know, and it was really cheap. But it's totally different inside than the 84. You know, if you remember, the other one didn't have any posts or anything like that, but it looks pretty clean. You know, I'm sure it'll work. I really wanted to look at it. I just thought, like, hey, that one probably has the isolator. There's no isolator on this one at all. Or insulator, I guess it is. And it doesn't look like it had one because of the length of the screws. But I don't know what year this carburetor is, but we may use it. Well, today I want to see if I can get this front brake get a little better action. Actually, it's gotten a little better. But drip some oil down in it and adjust it so that it works a little bit better. And take the throttle apart and clean it up as well. Okay, we got the throttle off. A little dirty there. We're dripping oil down the cable, drop at a time. Works rather well. And we're going to take the throttle apart here. It's got some wires for the kill switch, and we're going to see how messy this thing is. Yeah, pretty crusty in there. Should be clean. Shouldn't really lube it. Yeah, we got the throttle cable off. We had to twist it off of this, and that's why the wires are all twisted up. This isn't a very healthy thing to do, but they'll untwist when I screw that back in. I don't like these handlebars that they're unadjustable. I was thinking of getting some risers and maybe cutting this off so that I can push them forward so that my knees can fit in. At the same time, I'm going to get rid of the black overspray on everything. Okay, the insides are about as clean as they've been since they've been new. Put it back together. Oh, by the way, that wire was just clamped down in here. Just unscrewed it. That's how I like it. Okay, on the front tire, the cable, the lever feels good, but we're at our max adjustment here, which means that this adjustment needs to be notched down a little bit like that. And I think we'll do that when we pull a wheel apart to put in a new tube. These definitely aren't holding air. Let's put a little gas on this fender and just scrub it a little bit and see what happens. A little gasoline on it. I can see why my brakes don't work. This piece that I made that holds the rod is hitting the hub. There, that's as far as it wants to go. So I could trim that, file that down a bit, grind it down. But still, I mean, this is a bogus setup here. Not having a crap load of success with this gas on the fender. And if you keep at it for about 3.5 years, I think you'll get it. It's gonna have to be sanded. All right, we got the rear brakes working pretty good. And it's not even any play in them.
we took this arm and we undid it, took it out, put it back about a notch, put it back in. I stuck a nut right in there, and then the cotter pin's behind it. I'd like to go with a beefier cotter pin, but you know, this isn't a permanent setup anyway. I did see a brake rod for sale on eBay. I just can't get it right now. But this works for now rather well. Yeah, and the back wheel does spin even with it this tight. The front, what I realized is there's actually an adjustment here too, which will help a lot. But I want to take the whole assembly apart right now and lube it up and make sure everything's cool. So we'll get more adjustment out of here, and this should be fine instead of being maxed out at the lever. Alright, that took a little to get that nut off. It wasn't fine until I got to the end, then it didn't want to come off at all. So the deal is here, you got a nut on the top, nut on the bottom. You pull up this cable and then pull it out that slot right there. And we'll clean this up and get it so it's usable. I think right now this nut is kind of stuck to this, the end of the cable here. Gotta see if we can get those loosened up. Alright, I'm beginning to think this end is one with this. I mean, I got it in the sun now, I don't see any, and the camera's in the sun so I can't really see what I'm doing here. But why would there be this much adjustment? I mean, is this not supposed to sit on top? Like up here? Yeah, it's gotta be the right way. It was just put on wrong. Now I have another adjustment here, and adjustment at the bottom. Since there's no adjustment up here on the brake lever, pretty much the way I like it. Still, it seems like there should be another nut on the bottom of this, but I mean, ain't gonna fall out, that's for sure. Okay, we just rode it around the neighborhood and it felt pretty strong and pretty good until it started cutting out. And I saw air bubbles in the gas line, and not quite sure why that is, but I also want to take a look at the carb because it wasn't all that clean. Let's see what it looks like inside now. Well, the bowl still looks shitty, but I mean, it's not new shit in it. Now, float. No gas in it or anything. We'll blow it out, put it back together, see if we can get this main jet out now that there's a little gas in it, and clean it up again. Okay, we're inside, got the parts on a little oil glaze, shot some oil and stuff. I still can't get that main jet out. I can't get this guy out, the slow jet. One thing I was thinking about when I took the carb off is the bowl vented? Right there where my thumb is the hole out to right here. Oh, I'm sorry, right there is a hole to right here. So if it doesn't have any, if it can't breathe, then the gas is going to get hung up in the line like it was. So we're just going to blow it out again. We're going to try to make the needle valve, which is, if I didn't mention, really sticky in there. It still isn't good, so that could be screwing it up as well. I think the worst part is the needle valve here. You're definitely seeing it better than I can see it with my eyes. You know, I don't really want to use carb cleaner on it because of the rubber tip there. But I'm going to put some oil on it and hit it with like a toothbrush or something like that all the way around while it's in this little vise. So we've been working on the air filter a little bit with JB Weld. Can you tell which side is JB Weld? Yes, you can.
This I had to make a lip from like about where my thumb is to about here, which is totally solid. I mean, you cannot break that. I'm pushing as hard as I can with my thumb. And then I made this hump and drilled a hole, and we got a luck nut on the other side. So this should be totally usable. All you need is an air filter element, the foam pad. I also took a little Bondo to the gas tank and filled it in a little bit better. It still needs to be refined a bit. Needs some, what do they call that, spot putty or whatever to finish it off. And I still need to get some red coat, the tank liner stuff, to take care of this business over here, because that's definitely a leak. Back on, it still seems like we got kind of the air trap thing. I wonder if it's this damn filter. I know I've heard of, you shake it around and it definitely gets rid of the air. Except for up here. See how it runs. Yeah, we got the gas cap off. You know, I'm wondering if the insulator is definitely needed, because when it got hot and the carburetor got hot, wasn't working properly anymore. The engine's cool now. The plug looks pretty sooty, which is weird. I mean, shouldn't it be like lean looking? Well, I got some parts coming, and some of the parts that are coming are new inner tubes, which I really need. And I went out and I got the paint for the inner tubes. I mean, for the rims. I'll show you what it is. It's this VHT wheel paint, and here's the information. It seems like a lot of people use this, and it's a good match. So, and while I was thinking about taking off the wheels and getting them ready when the tubes come, you know, I thought, like, you know, this doesn't have a lot of stuff on it. Why don't we pull it off and give the frame a quickie paint? And I mean a quickie paint. Good paint, but quick. So we're going to pull it apart today and do that. It's damp and gray. They're putting in a new gas main in front of my house. It's loud and obnoxious. And, you know, you can't get any answers of what they're doing. They're all disgruntled assholes. So, yeah, there'll be lots of noise today too, like it has been for the last 2 months. Seat off, tank off, rear brake off. That took about a half an hour. First snag I ran into, one of the bolts came out fine, and the other one just wanted to spin. And what it did on the bars, I don't know if it was already split like this or what, but you can see that one's good, this one is not good. But my idea was to cut this thing off and put on risers anyway, so that you can adjust the bars forward. So I just didn't want to do it right now. Alright, well, we got the front fender and that last shock to get off, and we're down to bare frame as far as I'm going to take it. I'm going to leave the forks on. Oh yeah, it's starting to mist out too. I mean, I thought it was supposed to like clear up and the sun come out and be a 75-degree day. It's half the reason I'm doing this. So much for the weather report. Run to the fender here, and yeah, these got to be drilled out. What a pain in the neck they are. They got like mongrel, maybe American, or they're all rusted out and nothing fits, so we got to drill them out. Yeah, it's pretty bare. I had to drill them both out. This one went fine, this one went crooked. I mean, it's not a huge big deal, but I wish I got that a little better. You know, those lower forks are bent. So now I'm thinking of taking the forks off. I probably will. Yeah, everything I look at on this bike is so screwed up. One had a 13 and the other one had a 14. Look at the pitches are all different and stuff. I jammed this one And that side, this one looks stock. Yeah, you can see how bent that is. I swear I'm going to wreck these boots, so I'm trying to get them off, so I'm kind of having second thoughts. Look at that thing. Zoo. That one's kind of straight. This top cap nut was kind of loose. I guess it won't hurt to pull it off. And of course we got the loose ball bearing instead of a nice, bearing. So I'm gonna go get a magnet and pull those out, and then the ones down below are always a nightmare. Well, I don't think I lost a one. I got them all. I'll have to count them to see if I got enough. I doubt it, the way everything's been going on this bike. Here's the frame. You know, it's like this thing is never going to be a nice bike. It's just not. It's going to be a rat no matter what. The threads on the lower suspension are kind of suspect. One thing I didn't realize with these bikes is there's like another spring in here. It's like spring loaded somehow. No? Can you see that? The mist is picked up here a little bit, but doesn't mean I can't clean off the frame. So we're going to kind of ignore the front end for right now and concentrate on just cleaning this, I guess. Well, we degreased it. We cleaned off all the dirt. Kind of sanded a little bit, not a lot, and then I'm going to take like some mineral spirits or something and wipe it down. Try to get any remaining grease debris off of it. Okay, I'm going to paint the rims today. You can see that water gets trapped in here and the rust just starts like no matter what. This is, as somebody said on a list, it's like a check valve. The water goes into these rims and it can't come out. So I'm going to paint the back of these just so they don't rust. That's primer and then one coat of the VHT wheel paint. Looking good. Yikes. The back wheel didn't come out as good as the front wheel. And that hub is a little more suspicious than before. It didn't quite go together as well as it did before. But we're going to live with it for now. Well, this is what we got right now. The wheels on, but the front end, what I did with the front end is I was going to yank it apart because of how bent this leg is. And I said, wait a minute, I'm just getting in it too deep. I can do that at some other point. And I think I was yanking down on these to see what they would do. And then I figured these were kind of a problem and would get destroyed if I pulled them off. So now I'm trying to get the bolts back in. And they kind of feel like they're just like spring loaded. They're not really going in. And I think I mentioned it before. This bolt is correct. This one someone stuck in, it's too short, and it looks like the thread pitch is different. So, I'm going to think about my progress. Yeah, it doesn't look any different to me. I hope it looks different to you. I mean, the wheels, I guess, they look healthy. Everything looks pretty healthy, really, but things aren't really all that healthy. Okay, we're doing the points of condenser. We got the points all loose here. Only held down with that screw there. And then you loosen that nut and take off this wire. There's a wire from here and there's a wire that comes out here that goes to the coil. And these guys come down and they attach to the condenser down here. And then you gotta solder those wires to the top, which is a real pain in the butt. Because it takes quite a bit of heat. I usually use two soldering irons at the same time. And try to get it quick because you're not supposed to have the heat on it for long either, which is fun. So we'll pull that out and we'll see what we can do to solder on a new connection. Well, this soldered very bad. It took me forever to get the old one unsoldered. I mean, like 45 minutes or so. Another thing is this sits down into a hole in there. The bracket on this aftermarket one is too low, so it doesn't sit in there. So it's, oh